Hello, hello.
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 How was everyone this evening?
Good.
Good. Ah, okay. Audrey? Oh, she's still connecting. How are you, Gisela?
I'm good.
Good. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Awesome. I'm going to give everybody at least another minute or so before we get going. Today, it's going to be interactive. I want everybody to have their command open because we're going to go over opportunities and how it relates to getting paid correctly and on time, and how DocuSign integrates with opportunities. So if you're doing everything on your own or if you're using a TC, and how it should work to be effective for you.
And I can open the command while on this video on this laptop, or do I need to do it separate?
You'd be able to. You can just like take the window that has your browser and just shrink it a little bit so you can have it on one side, and then the video screen, just make it where you can just see me and what I'm doing on the other side. But I will be very descriptive on how and what's supposed to be happening, and then I want you guys to follow along.
I'm gonna try that. If you lose me, I'll be right back.
Understood. Dima, are you able to turn your camera on?
Actually, I just left the office. I'll be home in 10 minutes, so I'll be hearing. If you want, I can turn on the camera.
Nope,
But
be safe, and as soon as you get home, just get on, because I want everybody to participate and follow along with what we're doing, because it's very important to make sure everybody gets paid correctly and on time.
Good point.
That's one of the big issues that is continually going on. I think it's just
Okay.
a knowledge gap with an understanding of how the systems are supposed to work. But that's what we're here for, and I can definitely help get everybody on the right path.
Okay, perfect.
Oops. Where'd I go? Yeah.
Okay, so let's begin. So welcome to Twilight session for Thursday, January the 20th. It's a little cold outside for me, so I'm over here bundled up in my sweater in my office working. How is everyone else's day going today?
Good. So far, so good.
Good. That's great to hear. So I'm sure those of you that have had meetings with me, I preach about contacts all the time and cleaning up that database. So as we begin with what we're doing today, the fastest, easiest way for you to get paid correctly and on time starts with contacts. If your contact within the command system is fully set up, accurate with all the right information, then that will lead us into creating the opportunity with that correct information. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm going to take the video off of myself and share my screen. Alrighty. Can we see my command screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Perfect. Move that over here. That works. Okay. So here in my command, one of the most wonderful things about our command and contacts is that it gives you a report of the health of your data bank. And we say data bank because it works like a bank. You're putting in deposits, which are the contacts, because those contacts are supposed to, at one point, help you sell or buy a home, which allows you to make a withdrawal, which is the money that you make from the sale or that transaction. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So of course, we all have varying different types of contacts tagged different ways and all of those fun things in our command. But The key is the amount of contacts that we have. Like I have 1,463 or 1,463. If you're working towards on a brief scale and if you want as a new agent to try to close 12 transactions in 1 year, if you're following the MREA and how to become $1 million real estate agent based on Keller Williams and Gary's formulas and methods and systems, then you would need a minimum of at least 1,400 contacts to be going after a minimum of 143 opportunities within the year, setting 26 appointments for the year, and adding a minimum of 6 contacts per day to your data bank. Does that make sense, and do we know why?
It makes sense, but it doesn't sound possible.
Okay. I can see that, but as we all know, we do have some really amazing agents. With
Love the honesty, Audrey.
Sorry, I'll shut up.
Completely fine. It's simply a method that nobody's going to be able to do it immediately right off the bat saying tomorrow. But if you're on that path and you're developing those habits, then it becomes a habit that wherever you are, you're always talking real estate. So then it becomes second nature. But
So one more time, 1,400 contacts. I missed the second one, 26 appointments, adding 6 contacts per day. What was the second one? How many? 120?
124 opportunities.
Okay, 120. Okay.
Do we know within our contacts the difference between a lead and an actual pipeline lead? I'm sorry, a contact and a lead. Those two things.
Yes.
Mhm.
The
Well,
contact, I mean, the contact is just like you would be a contact for me
Okay.
as a, as a real estate contact. A lead is someone in your pipeline that you can rate A through D.
Perfect. And when does it become someone that you can have in your pipeline? Because you can have contacts that, of course, aren't agents, that are just other people you've had communication with. But when does it actually become a lead?
When you've talked to them about real estate,
Yes.
When
essentially.
you're pre-approved?
Also, specifically, yes. But the moment you're having a two-way conversation with any specific person, that's when they become a lead and you create that opportunity. Because we send out messages, we do phone calls, we send emails, but if they're not having a two-way conversation, then it's still just a contact.
Right.
Cool. So as I'm showing here on my screen, I have all of these contacts in my system, but if you can see the health of my data bank, it's not very healthy. I've got lots and lots of emails. I've got 43% of phone numbers, but I have more red than I have green. So if you click on the reports section in our little applets right over here, it only gives you information that's trackable about all of your contacts and the different systems that we utilize within our command system, meaning the goals, emails, texts, and calls. So I'll pick on you, Sandy. If you click on reports, what does yours say?
Oh, Arthur, I couldn't get it to come up. Oh, wait. No, that's yours. I shrunk it down, but then you just took up the screen. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
that's okay. I don't know how to get it to show. I did look at it last week though. I mean, the beginning of the week. I don't know. I can't tell you unless.
It's okay. That's something we can come back around to. Raina, I see your hand is raised.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. The 26 leads part, was that like a goal for the month or?
No, 26 was a number of appointments that you would need to take at minimum to reach hitting 12 closed transactions in units for the year. Cool. So when you guys get into get into the reports and look at the health of your data bank, this is simply just telling you that you need to be cleaning up that data bank and make those phone calls and get in touch with those people that you don't have that information from. The phone numbers, the addresses, the neighborhoods, the home anniversary, birth dates, because all of that will help the AI system send out smart plans appropriately and correctly. In addition to you having all that correct information so that when you set up that opportunity and you submit it to the market center administrators, they're not going to return it to you because it's all complete and correct. So,
Hey, Arthur,
yes.
okay, so how did you get to this screen? I'm sorry, from the contacts.
So if we're looking at our KW command system,
Yes,
reports is right under campaigns, and reports has nothing to do with money. It only talks about the health of your database.
right. Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And how many, I'm sorry, I
No, you're
probably
fine.
like
Go
jumped
ahead.
in
This is
late,
this is
but
what we're here for. Go ahead.
how many leads is it, if we're aiming for 26 appointments within the year, how many leads are we trying to get for the
Well,
year?
it's not necessarily about leads because what I was referring to, if you've been part of, sorry, I'm grabbing my book. This is all based on the MREA. So
Gotcha.
we're working with those systems and models and stating that if you were working towards hitting 12 closed transactions and units for the year, you need at minimum 1,400 contacts in your data bank to be working your data bank, your SOI, and all of that, all of the people within that system that you can potentially get a buy or a sell from, which leads into those 124
24
opportunities
opportunities,
be within your system, and then the 26 appointments you need to book and keep to potentially get the listing or the buyer.
right?
Does that make
And we
sense?
have to add 6 contacts per day to do that. Okay,
6 new additional contacts.
right.
And of course, if your goals are a little bit less ambitious or even more ambitious, those numbers just adjust and shift, which everybody can do anything that they'd like to do. It's simply a matter of, has everybody set their goals in their command system for 2022?
Yes.
Not in command.
No,
Okay, so in the reporting section, as we see up here up top, there's dashboard, reports, goals, lead routing, emails, texts, and calls. If we click on goals, goals is going to allow you to put in whatever information that you feel you want to reach towards. And this is where, as you'll remember, Sandy, in all the classes that Danny's teaching and Barbara's teaching, it's all about trackability. If you're able to track the things you're doing, the numbers will tell a story and you can shift, pivot, and adjust. But if you're just doing things and you don't have trackability, then you don't know where you're going. You don't have a roadmap.
Right.
So in here, of course, my information, because as me as I'm a realtor, but my gig right now is I'm focused on technology and assisting all of our agents, which is fantastic. But as you can see, I put in a goal that I want to net $150,000 cash by the end of this year through real estate sales, which means it's my hitting that 12 units sold with all of that information I've given, which also means that I'm going to have to net and gross by GCI of 375,000 to attain that goal. So yeah, go ahead.
you just
Okay,
plug
so-
in the number. How do you
It's at
decide
the
like?
very top where you see goal setting. Top
Yeah, I'm right there. I see it. You just put in what you want. You like say you want to sell, say 6 hours.
It's more about figuring out your why. Like, if what amount of money would make a change and a difference in your current situation. I chose 150,000 because if I were to make 150,000 this next year, that would greatly change and improve the way I lead and live my life currently. And it's what I want. But what does that look like for you?
So once you put in that number, it'll create the whole parameters.
Correct. It'll
So if I
create
put
all
in
these
right now, if I
parameters.
put in what I'm thinking I want, it would fix and break it down for me.
Correct. And
okay.
utilizing the command systems, as we see right here in the goal conversion rates in the center, this upside down triangle, if you're using the system the entire year, this will track all that for you, putting in the opportunities so it tells you what your potential is, moving them along in those buckets so it creates, if you start them in the first cultivation, it's only going to give you a certain percentage of that total potential commission. As you move them along, you're getting closer to the higher amount of that total commission, and this is where it tracks all of it for you. But if you don't use the system, if you haven't put in your goals, then it's hard for the system to do its job.
And how do you start inputting all the? You go into that goal setting box on the far right to start that process.
Correct. You click on goal setting, and then it opens up into this big, beautiful Kelly Guide goal setting. You click on Get Started,
Mhm.
and it's a pretty simple process.
Mhm.
The goal setting information is on the right-hand side. You can look at this year. At the end of the year, it allows you to toggle between this year and the next year, but right now it's solely about 2022. The second little option is where you put in the dollar amount of money that you hopefully intend to create and make for yourself as a realtor. And then if you know your percentages, you can enter them. Otherwise, you can leave it blank and allow it to do it based on MREA. Does all that make sense to everyone?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, cool. Then you click Next, and then it shows you the comparison charts of appointments set, appointments kept, and this information is all pulled from the opportunities, which we're going to get into next. It will also, towards the end of the year, as you're utilizing the systems, give you your conversion rates to see how many phone calls you made and how many did you actually convert into an appointment and then kept that appointment. All of that is that trackable data that we're always referring to and talking about. Then you would click Save and Continue, and then all of it automatically will populate itself into the command system, and then you're able to track everything that you're doing with command for the year. Come on, systems. There we go. Any questions on goal setting?
Mm-mm.
No.
Nope.
Awesome. Okay. So now we're going to move into opportunities. Opportunities is the little handshake one in the center on the left side where the applets are. And as we discussed earlier, the moment that you're having a two-way conversation with someone that's in your data bank, that's when you should go to opportunities and create that opportunity. Because as soon as mine loads, it will show you all the data. Oh, that's why. Admit. Okay, so now that we're in my personal command account, I can see that I have one active listing, which is a test. And then I have a couple of different active ones over here in this area. And then this side over here, it's telling me my potential GCI and my probable GCI based on where I have the opportunity within the buckets. Same thing for here for my buyers, listers. And then in California, we generally don't mess with leases as real estate agents unless you choose to. Down here at the bottom, as we can see, my potential profitability, it gives you all this lovely information, but it can't do it if you don't use the system and haven't set your goals.
Mm-hmm.
So as an example, I'll come into my active potential listing, and it's, of course, it's a test, so it's for me. As we can see up top, there are 6 different buckets, which all of this is customizable as you get into your real estate business. This is just the basic framework, but if you have specific ways that you work it in a different way that's different than this, you can completely customize this system for you. So as I was saying, when you start an opportunity, initially it's going to be in the watch and cultivate, and then as you're moving along, you're nurturing. It's a hot lead, so you're moving it into the appointment status. Same thing, you're scheduling an appointment, you've scheduled or you've kept. From then, as Audrey knows, you can go into active, where you're actually looking at homes and showing homes, and then it goes under contract. And then eventually, it gets closed. Once it gets closed, that's how all this information is added to your GCI, and we start to see production numbers, which Raina can attest to, Audrey can attest to.
Mm-hmm.
So as we come in here, opportunities start in command. If you started in command, all the information that you populate, which is the correct contact information that we work to make sure our database is clean and correct, we put all that in. You make sure that your property in which that's being sold or being purchased is also in here as well, because you can actually link a listing right up top. Just like in MLS, you pull it up, you buy the MLS number, you can search by address and link it to the opportunity. Down here, when everything is actually entered, it gives you the possible potential commissions and splits in a worksheet in which you can view so that you know exactly what should be coming to you. All that makes sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. So the next little tab here is the seller profile. Now, if we've talked about the KW consumer app, does everybody have that on their phone and understand what its function is for?
Yes.
Cool. So if the seller that I am working in this transaction with had bought into using the KW consumer app and profiles, right here, it would populate and show up all of their information, meaning their contact information, anything and everything they've checked on, just like in their timeline, where they're using the KW app and you can see all that active information. So that just helps you to, if they're in the same transaction, for the system to just collate all that data for you. And you don't have to do all that manual entry.
Okay.
Next would be documents. The documents piece, even if you're going to use a TC, it's still highly important for each individual agent to know and understand how the system works, because I, of course, am in the tech side of things, and I get many, many phone calls from different agents that have done it in the way that is not proper to set up. So then, like, MCA can't find their information or documents, or it's here and not there, and it's not synced. But I'm gonna show you today the proper way that it should be done based on the systems, so that everything is easy and you get paid correctly and on time. Does everybody have their DocuSign, zip forms, and car all linked together?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Gisela? Okay. I'm going to take some notes so I can send that email to you.
I don't have it either.
I can't pull up my screen because I tried and I lost it and I don't want to mess with it because I keep messing everything up.
It's quite okay. Don't worry about it. We can have a one-on-one session and we'll get you all wrapped in and taken care of.
Okay, thanks.
Just take notes and we will get you there. So the
Me,
reason
me too.
whomever needs the assistance, this is exactly what I am here for. We set up that appointment and I will get you all wrapped in and ready to go.
Okay.
Actually, I'm meeting with you tomorrow, Dima, at 5 o'clock, I think, if I remember correctly.
5 or 5:30.
Let me check my schedule. It is 5 o'clock. Do you need 5?
Okay.
Do we know if the with that new app that came out, has that already like launched?
Which new app?
I don't know if it's like a new update or something like that to the one of the KW. I don't know,
Oh.
one of the
KW app.
That was the version 1.1 for Keller Williams Command app. That was just the integration of Twilio into the mobile version of Command on your phones.
So didn't nothing else changed.
Right, that was the only update and change. It fixed a few bugs, and then Twilio was added for usage on the mobile devices.
But the one that oh man, I forgot his name. Something Young.
Zach Younger?
That one. Yeah, that one. So the one that he was talking about, that hasn't come out yet?
No, that's a future release.
Oh, okay.
But of course, you know, we're jazzed about and talking about things, but my job is to work with things that are currently available to us. He gets to play the new fun
Right.
stuff. So the reason that I asked about your connection between Command, DocuSign, zip forms, and car, because typically the way agents would normally have to do it, they would go into zip forms, do all of their stuff, download it, put it into the next system, put it into the next system. That's too much work and it's very cumbersome. So what's happened now is you can completely link where it says right here, go to transaction. The moment I click that, it takes me to DocuSign. And then on the back end, you can have zip forms and all of the car forms linked into that, so you never have to go anywhere but Command to do all of your work. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Awesome. So as we can see here, if I have gone along in the process and have my contact incorrect, I created the opportunity within Command, and then I've set it all up in here, I click Go to Transaction, and then it takes me to DocuSign. I may have to get out of this one and reshare. Mm-mm-mm. And now it's making a liar out of me. There we go. Still loading. My internet at home has been very not nice with me today. There we go. Okay. Logging in.
So you literally can go into command, just like how we go to car.org on like a separate page. You'd be able to do all that stuff within command.
Yes.
Yes, and I'm about to show you. So here I was in my
Oh.
opportunity. I clicked on go to transaction. It immediately pulls up my DocuSign room where I have all this information. And of course, I've been playing with it and doing some test stuff. So if you have your DocuSign set up, the moment you start that transaction, DocuSign sets up the room, imports all the information that you put into the opportunity so you don't have to do that again. That's why it's important to start everything in command and opportunity and then click the go to transaction so it will automatically import and travel all that information over for you.
Mm-hmm.
So does this use like the templates, all that stuff that you've created in your DocuSign? You can utilize those in these rooms.
Yes.
You can pre-create templates with all of your like your DRE, our brokerage information, all that jazz. So it's click and play, click and play.
Can you pull them from car at this point in command? Just
Mhm.
like you can in
So
car,
if I wanted to add some new documents to this, I would click the add button. Now the caveat here is that you do have to, as I've said, have them linked all in the back end, which if you don't have that set up yet, I can easily show you how to do it, but that's a different conversation. So as of right now, I would click on DocuSign Forms. Because I have it linked, you see it saying checking agreements. So it's going to pull up everything that I potentially might need.
and the newest version.
And the newest version. So then as you can see here, groups would be our MCA. If they already have like a preset, predefined groups of things that they want us to use, this is where it would populate, but they don't. So as you can see under libraries, here's my car. I click on car. There's every single form that I could possibly want from the car database.
So if you're in the purchase agreement and you select a box that prompts another necessary disclosure, do you have to go get that disclosure or will it add it? It'll add it. Okay.
Auto-populate it.
Okay.
Auto population. So as you can see here, these forms are already within my documents because I've already pre-added them. Because I knew what I was going to discuss tonight, so I went ahead and did it. And so this is just creating the ease in which you can do these things without flipping back and forth between multiple systems, like Raina was saying, going into CAR, going into zip forms, bringing it into DocuSign. That's just too cumbersome and too much potential for things to go incorrect. So with that being said, now at this point, this is where when you, say for instance, you have a TC, you would come into the People tab as soon as it opens up for me, and you would add them as a user so they don't have your user and username and password credentials. They have their own separate access to be able to do the work for you without using your credentials.
So how do you add them?
In People, you click Invite.
Okay.
You type in their email address, first and last name, and then the transaction side. And then once you give them a transaction side, this gives them, you select the role in which they're using the forms for you.
Okay. So does it give a TC
Correct.
choice? Okay.
Correct. So that you're able to give them access. And then once they're added, like for instance, say right here, if you click on the three dots, you can give different types of access, share full form access, editability access. So that way, if somebody needs to come in and audit, we can find where the issue happened versus the same login is doing everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Go ahead.
for those of us who have a success coach who reviews our, documents prior to submitting, like an offer, would we add them there?
Yep.
Okay.
You'd click on this button, put in Barbara's name or whoever your success coach is, first and last name, transaction side, and then they can do the editing and give you notes and all that information, because they also, as an agent, have access to all these same things. So you're just sharing that privilege with them versus having to send them the document in a PDF email.
Right. Okay.
It's just keeping everything in one location rather than 50 different emails you have to filter through to find what you were looking for.
Mhm.
That makes sense? Does it help
Mhm.
streamline a few things?
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
At least on that part, definitely.
Right. Well, I've got some really fun stuff for you coming up.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
sure that you guys, those of you that have gone into a transaction, when you're ready to send the things off to be signed, how many of you have gone in and physically put in each one of the signing boxes, the date boxes, and all of the initial boxes?
Yes.
Well, yeah, but it highlights it. Is that what you mean? Or no?
Yes, like where you're putting the physical place where the person that you're sending it to needs to put their signature or do their signing.
Yeah, you have to.
Okay.
After you. Yeah.
So as we set up the room and we're wanting to send it over to people, do we understand how that works with envelopes?
Yes, but you could go over that.
Okay, cool. So the envelope, think of it as the phone call. You're making a phone call, but who's going to be on the other end to pick it up and answer it?
Your client.
Exactly. So with that being said, we go into envelopes. Open up for me. There we go. Okay. Wrong area because I've already gotten these signed. So let me move into. See, I was playing with this earlier and already signed the document. So what I was going to show you right there won't let me show you because I've already signed this.
What if you hit edit over there?
I've already gotten them signed, so you
Oh.
can't change an
Oh,
already
yeah, you
signed
can't
document.
change it.
Can't unsign it.
Yeah, well, I can't unsign it, unfortunately. That would be nice.
Just kidding. Congratulations.
Does anybody know what a pre-tagged role is?
No.
Pre-tag roll. Is that where? Isn't that before it's signed? It has all the little tags on there showing them that what they need to sign.
Yes. So
Okay.
once you put the documents ready to go, you're putting them in the envelope so you can send them to the people to sign, rather than doing the manual work of putting, oh, I need them to sign here. I need them to initial here. I need them to put the date here. If you allow the system based on it's in the opportunity first, we
Mhm.
have the correct contact information. It's all been imported into DocuSign from opportunities. You simply have to click on the button that says pre-tagged roles, and it does it all for you.
Where's that button?
Color coded. Let me show you.
Okay.
Throw away your little post-its.
Absolutely. Dun, 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 dun.
But you can't do that in car.
No, that's a DocuSign function.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I didn't know how to do it there either, but this is good.
That's okay. Okay. I'm going to create a new. Please DocuSign sign at GN and return.
Was my dog leaving?
I want to bring in not the signed one. Let's just do this one that's not signed. Yay. Add recipient. Do you see that right there?
Yep.
So when you've added the document that already has the pre-populated information, like it's got your buyer, it's got your seller, it's got all the broker, DRE, agent, all that good jazz. When you're going to add it to the recipients list, this is when you can do pre-tagged roles.
Okay.
pre-tagged roles would be buyer one, and then you select whoever the buyer one is. We're going to say me, Arthur Martinez. Then buyer or seller agent would be also be me, Arthur Martinez, because I didn't put anybody else in there because I wanted to get all these so I could sign them myself and see how it all worked.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, if there's a co-selling agent, an escrow holder, yada, 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 there's plenty of different options in here. You would simply click Add Selected. And then it pre-populates, of course, which order do you want these to go to? Are you wanting buyer one to get this information, needs to sign before it goes to buyer two? Or do you want to set up one and one and they both can get it simultaneously and both sign at the same time? It really just depends on what your options are in terms of how you want it to happen.
I like to be the second person so that I know that they've signed.
There you go. So
Yeah.
then the way it's set up right here, as you can see, the selling agent, it's going to get their information is going to happen first. Once it gets signed, then the system will automatically send it to the number two on that list. So that it'll get signed. Then you can add another recipient, meaning if it's your TC, if it's your some other title place that needs to review the document, whatever the case may be, you would add an additional recipient right down here by a room participant or an email address.
So it seems like it's a obvious order, but like when you're putting in an offer, obviously the buyer and myself, or buyer's agent would be signing first because they're offering, right? Goes over, then the selling side signs it. If you're in a regular, the offer's accepted, you're going into a transaction. I guess it doesn't matter which side signs first. Okay.
There you go. You got it. This is just an option for depending upon what transaction you're working through and how you want it to work. This area right here is simply an automation piece to allow you to set it up that this one gets it first. Once the action is taken, it goes to number two. Once the action is taken, it goes to the next person. So on and so forth until it's returned to you with all signatures, and then you can submit it to MCA.
Yeah.
And it tells you also that it's in progress if they're still.
There will be a blue line across the document if it hasn't been signed. It'll say it'll be green and have a signed check on it.
Oh, you mean on the documents that you had before this screen?
Yes.
Because in DocuSign, it doesn't, it only tells you the name of the document. It doesn't open it up like you have it unless I'm not doing it right. You have it more like a thumbnail.
This is DocuSign.
Yeah, but okay.
You're talking about where the signatures go, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Which I can open it up and show you that as well, because of adding the pre-tagged roles, when you open it up, you'll see different colors. The blue will be the first color, yellow will be the second color, and differentiate all the way down to see where the signatures, where initials, where dates, and all that need to be for the respective parties.
But when you were selecting your documents into your envelope, I could see what your document was. It was a thumbnail rather than a just verbiage of the name of the document.
That's just the way I'm choosing to view my documents. Your screen must be on list, where mine is on icons.
Got it. Yeah, that's a silly question to me. Sorry.
It's okay.
No, it's not.
That's the entire purpose of us being here. Ask all those questions. There's no wrong question. There's no wrong answer. As we learned in Bold, you don't always have to be right.
That is very true.
So are there any other questions in regards to this screen right here and how to add pre-tagged roles so you do not have to go in and manually take all that time to add signature lines?
No.
Nope, that's
okay. If there are any questions, always feel free. You can email me, give me a call, text message, set up an appointment. We can go over it as many times as we need until we fully grasp and understand. Yes, Sandy.
one more question. Okay, so I think that's a great idea, and I'm going to have my buyer. I'm going to do that pre-tagged role for my buyer, for myself. What if you work with an agent that doesn't want you to do that? You don't have to add them in, right? It's
you don't have to.
It's just because you're selecting by role.
Correct.
Okay.
Because where was it at? Oh no, it's right here. Add recipient, pre-tagged roles. There we go.
Yeah,
This would be
gotcha.
you don't have to select the other agent if you don't want to. If you know you already have that working relationship and they don't want all that jazz, they just want the end result, that's totally fine.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then, of course, at the bottom, you always want to put the subject and the information. And then in the email message, always have something with a deadline. Like, please review these documents and have them to me no later than Friday, if it's, Monday or whatever your deadline needs to be. Cool. So we're going to click next. Next will take us to the next screen before it actually will send out those emails to the people that need to sign these documents. Come on, internet. Come on, internet. Well, while that is thinking, does anybody have any questions in regards to, just any questions?
I would like you to, if you can, I just did my first third party signing, which was a little, it takes it a step further
Yes, it
from
does.
this. So if you can continue that far, that would be good.
Of course. So as we see here, when I click next, it's going to open up the document to show me where those pre-tagged roles have been placed. You can make adjustments if necessary. However, the system, if we followed the process and done it the way it's designed to do it, will do it all for you. I've got my signature right here, date already there, signature date. As we go down the sheet, it will automatically populate all that for you, so you will never ever have to again put those in manually.
That's awesome. I did not, I've been doing it manually, so that's
Time saving.
right.
Less errors.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And as you see, as we keep going, we have signature, signature, date, and all this is based on the selection that I did when I clicked on pre-tagged
roles. Okay.
Pre-tagged roles. If you take away anything from tonight,
Pre-tagged roles. Okay.
Audrey, you know how long it takes if you do it all manually versus clicking a button and it's done.
Yes, I do. And you know me, I do things the hard way every time.
But now I'm going to give you some short versions.
Okay.
Do you think, because it's not only happened to me, but a couple other agents, first time they put in an offer, that when they went to input the information or do MLS Connect, it wouldn't allow them to connect and they had to input it manually. And I thought, well, maybe that's their way of making us do it the first time manually, so you know where to get all that information. And the second time for both of us, all three of us, it went through no problem.
Oh, wow.
Did you find that, Audrey or Raina?
I did not. I did it the hard way.
I'm going to venture to say that was a technical glitch. And if you come across that, contact me, because 9 times out of 10, that's a simple thing that can be tweaked and fixed so that you don't ever have to do that.
Well, it's never happened again, and on any other offer, it just goes right through. But that first time, and then for others, it was like, talk about stress.
I can definitely understand that for sure. When I learned about pre-tagged roles, because right now I'm in a masterclass learning how to completely dive into and understand everything that's related to DocuSign. So that's why I was excited about teaching this class, because I'm like, holy crap, this is so time saving. And I've worked with some agents that have done it manually, and it's just like pulling out your hair, like, this is ridiculous. And then pre-tagged roles, pre-tagged. I'll say it again, pre-tagged roles.
I think I'm going to get a tattoo.
Let's get matching ones, Audrey.
Right? And then, of course, as we put in all the information, it's already all pre-populated because it was based on the information that I put into command when I set up the opportunity first. So if you want to do less legwork, less data input, make sure what you're doing in command and in opportunities is accurate before you go to DocuSign.
Okay, now let me ask you this. So are you there? All this information is coming from opportunities. This is not from your cover sheet.
This is from opportunities. We're going to get into the cover sheet in a moment, but all of this is the information that I put in as the buyer, the seller, and all that profile information. So when I clicked go to transaction, it transferred.
It went. Okay.
And of course, you can edit it if something is amiss or you entered it wrong into command. However, all of this is pre-populated. It puts it in the correct spots for you, so you don't have to do any of the thinking and the work if you've already done it right in command.
Mm-hmm.
And as you see, initial, it already populated it.
Okay.
Everything that I may have needed in here, it's already done it based on what I put in. Now, more initials down at the bottom. And it works that same way for every single document, for everything across. See, and as you can see here, it's already done these little pre-checks for me because it's information I gave it in command and opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
More signatures down at the bottom, and we're almost to the end of this one document. More initials, more pre-population, more initials, more initials. The point being, it's super easy and it makes your life simpler, which is the name of the game. Streamline the technology to make your realtor life more efficient and effective.
Right.
Does anybody know the difference between a checkbox and a radio checkbox?
No.
Ah, okay. So a checkbox, say for instance, you were adding some information like to an addendum and you wanted to give the seller or buyer options like choosing A, B, or C. It'd be better to use a radio checkbox because it populates 4 in which they have to make selections and they can't not do it. If you just put in a checkbox, that's something that they can potentially miss and not mess with. If you use a radio checkbox, they're connected and they will not be allowed to submit the signed document without making the selection, the appropriate selections.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does, but could you say it one more time, please?
Yeah. A basic checkbox right here.
Mm-hmm.
You add a basic checkbox, like, I mean, it's not going to be appropriate right here, but say that
Right.
1, 2, 3 is I'm needing them to make selections. Well, if I just put a basic checkbox right there, they could potentially miss that because they're only looking for signatures, and then they'll submit it, and then I see that they missed it, but the system itself won't stop them from missing. It won't say this needs to happen.
Right.
Whereas a radio checkbox right here on the left, if you drop that into it, it populates multiples.
But
And
why would you need that if the document is pretty, I mean, it's pretty smart in itself. When would you use that?
well, these would be one-offs. Like say that there is an agreement that the seller wants to leave potentially a refrigerator, washer and dryer, and the hot tub. And then the buyer gets to select which of those options they want to keep because that's what the agreed upon thing has been. So when you're sending these things over, you're going to be forcing them to make a selection of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, or all 3.
Okay.
And they cannot submit the document with the signatures if this selection isn't made using a radio checkbox.
Okay.
If you use the basic checkbox, they can forget it and submit it to you without doing it.
I see.
Mhm.
Now, since we're not going to mess with any of those things, I'm just going to delete them. But that's just a potential one-off. And if you come across that situation, I'd be happy to explain it to you in further detail.
Okay.
Cool.
Because there's like where leaving or those items, there's also a little section at the bottom that would be, you could put it in there because maybe it's all right, the playhouse goes, but you can only have one of them, right? So you're adding it like right there when you want to really get specific.
And be like, I need you to select which ones that you're gonna keep so we can release the other ones, and you have to make these selections because they won't let you submit the document without making those selections.
You can have the slide, but not the swing.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, that's an analogy. As an example. Yeah.
I mean, exactly. That's exactly the thought process behind it.
Right. Okay.
You got it. So as you can see here, all of the things are tabbed, but over here on this side, it physically will show you that there are multiple tags. Do you see these little color symbols? So if you're just rapidly trying to go through to see, you can see exactly which documents have things that need signatures.
Okay.
So it's just another helpful way for you to be able to do your job in a more expedited fashion without the legwork.
Yeah, sounds good.
So now I can hit send if I wanted to, and it would all come to me because they're all addressed to me in KW.
Mhm.
So I hit send, whoop, there they are.
Wow, that's a lot. It is a lot faster because now we only have to review it probably once instead of like 10.
Mhm.
You're
You know,
welcome.
Yeah. Mhm.
because I mean, you're so afraid you're going to miss something.
Oh
Mhm.
no, I totally get it. But this is why I was excited about being able to show you guys this wonderful tool. And I, of course, would have loved to have more people here, but I'm going to attack everybody with this information.
Mhm. Good.
It's helpful.
I can hear it again.
So as soon as this information pulls up, I'm going to answer your question, Sandy. Okay.
What
So
you got?
Sandy, do you see
Oh.
right over here in this right corner?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Underneath actions. If I click that, it's going to go to what you see.
Right.
Oh,
Mhm.
And if I click the icons, I prefer this version.
what?
I do too. Mhm.
Now, Audrey, to speak a little bit towards things that you and I have been working on,
Mhm.
generally speaking, when you're in your DocuSign, you have all of this jazz going on.
Mhm.
All
Yes.
the documents everywhere. And
Mhm.
it's like, holy cow, there's a lot going on there.
Mhm.
However, if you do add,
Mhm.
my apologies, I just lied to you. Action, add folder.
Oh.
Then I've already
Okay.
added an additional folder here for my signed documents.
Okay.
And do you see right here the little green check mark? that
Yep.
says sign?
Mhm. Yep.
Perfect.
Action.
Once you receive in DocuSign the documents back that are already signed, DocuSign
Mhm.
will also produce for you, where is it at? The certification from DocuSign
Right.
Uh-huh.
that shows the tracking and when and who signed what.
Okay. So we want to put that in there too then.
You don't have to, but it's just the CYA, more information for you.
Well,
Okay.
this by doing that with the folder and then putting the documents in that folder, that gives you a green check light, then or check mark. You don't have to worry because when you go to add those folder or add those documents to that folder, there's different versions. So there's like some of them will go 5, 6 versions. You're like, I open up each and every one to make sure I have the right one.
I'm
That's
sorry, I'm so excited because
time saver.
this is going to relate back to opportunities where we began in just a moment. Sorry,
know.
I get excited about teaching this fun stuff.
Uh-huh.
Once you've received all those documents back and you've gotten that email, everything's signed. So then, either your TC is going to do it, or if you're a newer agent,
Mhm.
I highly advise that you try to do at least one full transaction on your own. So that way you will understand the process and know how it works.
Oh my God, that's so hard. It's so hard. Try that.
It's okay. I promise it will be okay. So then we go back into command, opportunities. If we're in the details section, which is the first little tab right here when you've opened up the opportunity, look at this lovely thing we have, sync transaction. So if I click that button, the system is going to talk to DocuSign and bring everything back over that was been adapted, changed, new signed documents, all that jazz. Populates all this stuff for you because it's already been synced. It's already good to go. So then you come back into documents. Remember we created that additional folder for signed documents?
Yeah.
Yes. How do you move the files into that folder?
It did it for you.
In DocuSign?
No. When I opened I made a folder for signed documents in DocuSign. So how do I move the signed ones into that?
Okay, so if you can see on my screen, I'm back in DocuSign. You click
Yes.
you right click on the document.
Okay.
And then you can click move.
Move. Okay, good. And we're going to move
And
it.
you move
Select
it
a
to the
destination.
Uh-huh.
A folder.
Or you could just click it and drag it. Do you see what I did on the screen, Audrey?
No, do it again. I was moving mine.
You can either right click and hit move, or you can click and drag.
So what's the difference there? But when you right clicked, it said, right click again on the folder, on a document, create envelope. Is the envelope the same as the folder, no, it's not an envelope. It's not the same as a folder.
Right. The envelope, say for instance, we hadn't sent anything out yet. You're preparing all your documents. You're like, I need this one, I need this one, I need this one. So you're selecting all those. Then you right click and you can do create envelope based on those documents that you already check marked.
Okay, that wasn't
Okay.
right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and then when the other ones are ready, then you go back and get those and put in the envelope, and then you take the envelope and put in the folder.
Nope. The envelope is strictly for who you're sending it to for signatures.
Mhm.
The
Oh.
folder is simply for organization of your signed documents and
Right.
the versions you're working with.
Yeah, folders after the fact. Okay.
Right.
Okay,
So, but it's 6 one way, half a dozen the other. You can click the with the right click and hit move, and it'll just give you where do you want it to go.
right. Okay,
Or you can just click grab the document and move it into the other folder.
okay.
So, with that being said, we're back in documents in opportunities. And here, because I've already created that secondary folder that's for my signed documents, Audrey, this is going to answer your question.
Yes.
Attached files from DocuSign, and the working folder is either room documents, which has all of your documents,
Mm-hmm.
or the signed
The
folder
signed documents, so you
only
don't have to
has
go
the
through them
signed
all.
documents.
Ah,
So now when I
you're
come in
amazing.
here, my only selections are my signed documents. I don't want to see all those other versions that I
Right.
don't need and don't care about. I only care about the signed one that I need to submit.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Cool.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's how you organize it to be able to find it easier when you're going to put the documents in to submit to MCA.
Right. Okay.
It is this lovely button right here.
Right.
So of course, once you've added the documents that are required, then you can submit to MCA. And if you followed the process by having your contact information correctly, you started it in opportunities, then you went to DocuSign, did all your DocuSign stuff, brought the documents back in, sent them off, there's nothing wrong with the documents now. So
Right.
you're going to get paid correctly and on time.
Mm-hmm.
Any
Awesome.
questions about that stuff?
Nope.
Cool. So
That
if
was
you
awesome.
have anything you need to say to the MCA, right here under listed is where you can click add comment, and then you can comment about whatever specific document you were talking about and do an at mention, meaning at MCA, to be like, hey, pay attention to this, make sure blah, 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 whatever. I need you to
Okay.
double check this, XYZ.
Okay.
Tell us what MCA stands for again.
Market Center Administrator.
Okay.
That
I
does all of our
didn't have the
compliance
wording.
and all the checks to make sure we're not going to get sued and all that
Knew
good
who it
jazz.
was,
so
but
you
I
get
didn't know what it
paid.
was for.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay, so then my question is on the split attached uploads. Do you recommend splitting, or can it just come through as one? Just scroll on, scroll on.
It can
Okay.
come
What are you
through one.
talking about? Wait a minute. What are
It
you talking about?
Right here on my left-hand side, do you see split attached uploads?
Yes.
I'm sure that you guys that have worked with transactions, sometimes agents send the entire packet of like, I don't know, 50 documents. And the document you need is in there somewhere.
Okay.
So if you get something like that, then you can click on the split attachment, splitter, the PDF splitter, and it'll pull up a window of the entire PDF where you can selectively say, I want page 1, I want page 4 and 5.
Oh,
I
wow.
want page 7, and put them in this folder.
Oh, I didn't know receiving that you could do that. I was thinking it was a function sending that, and I was wondering what the recommended
It's simply a
suggested.
PDF splitter.
Okay, but we
Ideally-
shouldn't send it as split, right?
No, you should send it as one packet. That's
Okay.
why they put in the PDF splitter, because if you're sending multiple PDFs, that gets very confusing versus sending
Okay.
one package, and you have the ability in command to split it back up however you need to.
Yeah.
The
I wonder
splitter
that.
also works in reverse. If you split it too much, you can recombine. Based
Okay.
on select.
Okay. Okay. Nice.
So it's a two-way function there. Last but not least here, I want to make sure that we understand that the moment you come into this opportunity, there's already pre-populated lists. If you're doing a referral, if it's residential, this is the new 2022, or rather the RPA for 2021, the new one. that the moment you click it, it puts your checklist up there for you so you know exactly what documents that you need.
Okay,
Takes the guesswork out of it.
right. Jeez,
Cool.
they almost make it too easy.
Well, I mean,
I didn't say that.
that's the point. It's supposed to be simple, and then the
Mhm.
hard work is going out, pounding the pavement, and getting those leads.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because that's your 20% that you should be focused on, not the complications of working the documents in the system. That
What
should
am I gonna
Exactly.
do with my other 12 hours of the day?
you're going to lead generate and get more listings is what you're going to do.
Right.
All right, you guys, it is 6:59. I want to give at least a minute to answer any questions that anybody may have in regards to what we went over today. This is recorded, so you can always come back to it, or you can set an appointment with me for further questions, more in-depth, more in-detail things. I am here to assist you guys with anything tech-related, and I'm sure by now that you see that I'm a little nerd geek, and I just completely love all the tech, so I'm like, yay, what can I teach you now?
And that's why we love
that
you.
about you. I
Uh-huh.
do have one other question. Okay,
Yeah.
so when you said, here's your documents that you're going to need, right? You select those documents. It doesn't, okay, you know those 4 that were check marked, the hazard and the fair housing and all of that? Because those are check marked, won't it automatically add it to the end of your purchase agreement? Kind of like it just brings it on in, and it's just, because really there's not much to do on that except to sign it, initial it.
Correct.
It does. So because I one time I didn't realize it did that. And then, but I wasn't using command. I didn't realize it did that. And then I sent all those in addition.
Wow.
So it doubled them up. So
Mhm.
that's why I want to make sure it does. I can check it, but I thought it'd be a good
No,
question.
it does do that, and that's why following the system the way it was designed to work is
Uh-huh.
supposed to enable you guys to streamline it and be simpler versus harder.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I like that feature, so that it does it for you.
Awesome.
Mhm.
So, little teaser for next time. There is this lovely thing called, let me see where it's at. It's setting up a template for, say, a cover sheet or any document that you know you're going to have repetitive information, or if you're working with a buyer that has the same info, but you're on like number 7 offer for the 7th house because you keep getting beat out. Well, you can create under My Documents in DocuSign a template, a form template that's a static form template that all you have to do is apply the template to any document you want. It won't
Really?
overwrite information. It will only put information in the places in which you filled it out.
Can't wait.
That's next time.
Okay.
All right,
Sounds good.
guys, thank you very much for being here, being present, and having questions for me. And I look forward to talking to you next time. And until then, if you do have any questions, email me, call me, shoot me a text, set up an appointment on my Calendly, and I'd love to give you more information and knowledge.
One more thing.
Yeah,
I
go for it.
want you guys to know that I talked to Evergreen today in regards to the Cash Up program that they have.
Yeah.
So we're kind of in the middle of that process. So I'll let you guys know how it works out, because it seems to be a really good program for buyers, so that it takes away it makes it a level playing field for those cash offers versus a loan.
Right.
So
Mhm.
I'm excited. Hopefully it all works out really well.
Make sure
Yeah,
you
okay,
follow
good.
up with whatever information that you have by posting it in the Facebook group for the KW Success Coaching.
Okay.
That way, because everybody should be on that page and following along, because that's where we do a lot of posts for relevant information.
Okay. All right.
Thank you all for attending. I appreciate you, and have a great rest of your evening.
Thanks,
Bye.
Arthur. You too.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.